I am actually very excited to get this costume started. I've been thinking about it for months now. For this Green Goblin costume, I've only got limited supplies to start off with, so let me take you through what I've got for this section of the build. So some of this which I already have, which is teddy bear stuffing that I got from a local craft store. It's very nice. We're going to use this to pan out some sections of the undersuit where kind of like ridges and sort of like fake muscly bits are. Lots of lovely shiny green fabric, not the exact fabric to the costume, but we're going with a nice shiny looking Green Goblin, and we're going to be airbrushing and all sorts onto that. So this is kind of what's going to go over certain like built up parts of the costume and like the side tail flap things. I don't know what they are. They like go down either side of the leg. And this was a really nice green. I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. Unfortunately, doesn't match the green of the bodysuit I ordered. They look the same online. It's very tricky when you're ordering online to get exact matches. I mean, they're not too far off, but you can see on camera there is a difference between the two. But the thing is though, we can paint over it and it's more of a blue than a green, which is really annoying because it looked really green on the website, but we make do, we mend. We can work with it, we can fix it up, we can paint it. It's fine. Also, it's so nice to have gloves that actually fit me for once in my life. And we also have a plain black version of sort of the suit as well. So what the plan is essentially sew the two suits together in certain places and then cut a hole and stuff it. So there's certain sections of the costume that have these kind of raised padded areas. We're not going to do it exactly the same as the costume is on here because it kind of looks like a whole arm is padded, and I don't want to look too big and bulky and out of proportion. So I'm just going to change up the design a little bit, but still have those ridges, but just make them a little bit smaller and just look slightly different. So I better get out of my comfy onesie and get into the cold spandex. So we got the green on. It really doesn't like being over the black bodysuit, so way around this is I'm literally going to cut off the arms and cut off the legs, sew them in place, and then we can work on doing the stuffing and things. But whilst I've got the green on, as you see, it's not the most flattering thing in the world, but that's okay because there's a lot of stuff going on over the chest and things, so it's going to hide all of this lack of going to the gym because the gyms are shut. So just got some chalk. Not tailor's chalk. I stood on my tailor's chalk and it kind of crumbled to dust. So this is just normal chalk. So I'm literally just going to mark out sort of the lines down the arms where I need to stuff things and thighs. So let's do that. As you can see, my quality of stitching does leave a lot to be desired, but we've now got these sort of puffy raised bits on the legs and on the arms, and I've just put it on one of my mannequins just so it's easier to paint because it's all upright. These might provide a bit of an issue later on, but we can always just saw those off, it's fine. So we're gonna check out how the airbrush paints are gonna go on it today. So trying different shades of green, have like black in the middle of these bits here. I'm hoping having a decent paint job will hide some of the awkward edges that I've got here. So it's the one thing I have faith in, and I always say is paint hides many sins. If you know how to paint well, you can hide a few small embarrassing details, but it's fine. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error, I think, getting some nice shades going on. I'm only going to do the thighs and the arms for now. I'll obviously do the chest and the back and stuff later, because we've got things to add to them, so it'll be easy to do it when the other bits are complete. So this is kind of where we've got to with the paint on the arms. I'm trying to bring it up a little bit lighter. I'm just going over it some more yellows. Just wait for the base paint to dry, then hit it with a bit more yellow just to bring certain bits back up. So let's see, we've done the arms and done the thighs. So whilst I'm still tweaking on that in between some stuff, we're going to move on to these bits, which these are the legs. These bits I'm just calling the tails because I don't know what to call them. They're like big side flappy bits, kind of in the shape of a shield, covered in spikes. And this was a bit that I did a lot of work in lockdown because I had to cut out all of these tiny little spikes, which are covered in plaster dip, so they have a slightly different texture and a nice black colour, so we don't really have to worry about painting them too much. So that's a set for on there. That's a set for the other one. Please do excuse the dirty rug. And these are some spikes that actually run down the middle of this bit here, and obviously got two of these bits, which is 5mm EVO foam just cut to shape. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm just testing these bits out at the moment, so I've got my other 5mm panel, and in the cupboard I've got this just a little fabric belt. Just anything like this that people are going to throw out I keep because it's useful for projects, so it's just a fabric belt. I've just marked the middle, so I'm just literally going to tack the panels on with hot glue just to see how they kind of sit around my waist, and then figure out how to properly attach them. I might just glue it straight to this. Alright, so it's been a while since I filmed a part of this, so I can't actually remember the last bit I filmed. Life got in the way, but airbrush most of this now. One of these side panels I just ran out of paint, so one of them still needs finishing up. So I'm just going to leave that for now, so I can just paint a bunch of things all at once. And I've got these little bits of foam, which I've already cut out and made how I want them. So I'm just going to take our nice shiny green material, cover them with some of that, glue it in place, and then airbrush some details on, glue them all in the correct order, and then figure out how to mount that to the costume. And I might leave that as part one of this suit, because I know a lot of people are looking for more build stuff, and this costume's going to take a while, so hopefully this first part will be long enough. If I don't feel like it's long enough, I will extend it, so you might not see this bit. If you do, oh well. So here's the little sort of scaly bits that go on the stomach. Just glued them together with a bit of elastic sort of strapping, just so I've got movement in it, because obviously I'm going to be bending and stuff like that, because it goes up from like sort of pelvis to the top of the stomach, so need it to be bendy. Alright, so just for the bottom bit, I've literally just decided to go for the good old system of a bit of Velcro, so I can take this on and off when needed. Ideally, this part would sit like up here, so this needs to go down a bit more, but the way it sits on me and the height it needs to be, I've just had to move it down a little bit further, so it's not perfect. But here's the thing, I am not the same height, I'm not the same sort of width as Patrick Page, so I've got to tweak things to fit me, because I got hips, and these will not go past them. Which is okay, it means it won't fall off, it just means that needs to sit a bit lower, but that's alright. So, I thought I'm just going to finish off sort of the belt area a little bit. We probably will like colour the actual belt as well, just so we don't have a bit of beige sticking out, but that's probably going to be like a final job. What I've gone and done is cut out 6 of these. This is 2mm foam and covered it in a nice shiny fabric. And then I'm gonna do the normal thing of airbrushing the colours we want on there, and then glue it together in a way that this kind of sticks out a little bit. And this essentially goes around the side of my hips, just above where we've got the little side panels. So I've had to kind of faff around with these to get sort of the bit stuck in, because silly me didn't think ahead, and I'd like glued all this stuff down to the backs of these, not thinking I had to glue these in. So I've just trimmed them down, glued them back into place, cut out sections where like the Velcro and that shows through, re-glued strapping back in. I was actually going to use some zip ties to make sure this thing gets kept together, but as I've had to shrink it down, because originally it was a bit bigger, I just did a test fit and it was too big, so I've had to shrink it down, so I don't need to do that anymore because it's not as big and flappy. So now that's rather haphazardly glued on. Let's give what we've got a full test wear, and that'll be the end of part 1. Okay, so obviously the zip still busted. We will fix that at a later date. Because of this sitting where it does, I need to make sure I continue the paint up a little bit, because I have a shiny crotch and a shiny bum right now, so need to paint those bits in. So I'll make sure I do that in the next part. But apart from that, I'm trying to check out what I look like in various reflections. There is no mirror in here that can see the rest of this, but I think that's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. And then I have to blend in the belt at the back here as well. I like that it hides my stomach too. Okay, so part 2, we're going to start looking at casting some bits that'll go on this costume. So there's some silicone parts, so like spikes that go on the arms, a couple of bits that go on the chest, some bits that go on the shoulders. Obviously add the remaining paint detail that needs to be done for crotch and bum, and also start working on the detailing on the chest, because there's some sort of like chest padding and some ribbing effects, as well as adding a little bit more that goes up on the collar. It may take some time, but I have a feeling it's going to be damn worth it when it's done. The final part's going to be the prosthetics, so it's going to take a while, but I'm thinking if I get the rest of it done, that's going to be the ultimate motivation to make sure I get the prosthetics done. So as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Thank you as always has got to go out to my supporters on Patreon. If you want to support me on Patreon, links as always at the end of the video and down in the description below. You don't have to. If you like what you see, please subscribe if you haven't already. Share stuff with your friends. I try and get videos out whenever I can. Unfortunately, at the moment, my free time is incredibly limited, but we're going to keep pushing. If you want to see what's going on, follow me on my social medias. I normally keep people updated there if there's going to be delays to videos and such, and anything else that's kind of going on in life. Those are all down below, and I'm excited to finally get this villain journey started, considering I have tried a Green Goblin costume in the past and it completely failed. So we're technically doing a more complicated one and hoping for it not to fail. And now I've got to tidy up in it because it's a mess. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care out there. And I usually say may the force be with you. We can't really think of anything for the Goblin right now, so goodbye.